Hello, hello. Welcome to our Sunday stream here. I'm Nix242. We're going to kick it off with little digital coloring in Photoshop. We've been doing this series for a while now. We're up to part 5. This is the last part. We're going to be adding highlights to our drawing, or rather to Walt Simonson's drawing, which we have been coloring. All Fantastic Four. We've put down all the flats and everything. And let me just take control of this music a little. Listening to the Hitman Blood Money soundtrack. Really good game, really good soundtrack. Let's take a look at what we have so far. This is where we left off. Did the highlights for the background. Fix that up. Door has some highlights on them. We're gonna fix up the sled so it looks better. Gonna take everybody's skin and outfits and throw in some highlights there. We're gonna go for about an hour, so we'll decide as we go along. Whatever I don't finish today, I will pick up and continue offline, and then I'll post either on Twitter or on Discord. The final image. I mean, it's not going to be much different than what it is now, other than the sled will be more colored. That's our goal. And there'll be some nice highlights and some shadows too. Twitter account is located here, and our Discord is here for anybody who cares to want to check it out. Post more on Twitter than I do on Discord, although we will be having a community movie night that everybody's welcome to come to. If you want to partake in that, just shoot me a whisper or hit me up on Twitter, and I will invite you to the movie room in our Discord. Feel free to also join the Discord outright if you'd like. That invite should still be working. Okay, so highlights. What do we have here for highlights? This is all background stuff. So kind of happy with the way the background turned out. Less yellow, more of a like a white as you're going away from the blast. Centered in here. It does look good. As you get closer to the blast area, you see more yellow, as you should. All right, let's just dig in. Let's finish up Thor's highlights. Did a couple of highlights and shadows for him. I'll put a light source on his cape. And then we could darken his skin a little. We have like a half tone of skin color here. Mess around with his hair a little and put more highlights on his skin. Now I have, if I could find it on my hard drive, swatches for skin colors that I created a long time ago. I use it as a cheat sheet. So let's see if I could find them. I'll have it open when we do need it. Yeah, so this will be our last digital coloring session. Next week, there will be no coloring session. I'll probably take like 2 weeks off or so and come up with another topic for Photoshop. If anybody has any suggestions, I'll be open to it. We could do more coloring, if that's what you want to see. I was also thinking maybe some photo retouching. I'll see what we could do. Also need to fix these lines. I'll probably do that off stream. I'm realizing that they're not following the ink lines of the art. Where is my skin? Is it elsewhere? I know I have a PSD file that's all skin. Here they are. Yeah, see that open up on the screen now. Ah, it opened up in the wrong software. Not in GIMP. Photoshop. There we go. Yeah, so these are basic skin colors that I'm going to use. For the most part, I'll keep the skin as is, and I'll just go in darker with highlights. They didn't even bother to put highlights here in the skin. This is the original color covered. from the 80s. And if anybody has any suggestions as to what we should do to finish this off, highlights or otherwise, please feel free to drop it in chat. So I'm going to put, since our light source is back here and we're kind of showing that on the hammer of Thor, I'm going to put some light right in here along the edge of his cape. There. I'm going to bring it out a little here. Not like fully color the cape a different color. Say like this is the apex of where his cape is in the air. So that's where you're going to get the light flashing from the background. There's no right or wrong way to color this. I mean, you do have to follow the light source to a degree, but if you want to experiment, feel free. Hey, Tikaru, how's it going? Thank you for the lurk. Good morning. Or it's not good morning for you. It might be good night still. Thank you. I get some morning during my Saturday night streams, so... Okay, get a path. Lighten it. Fix the path first. A little off here. Need another point. There we go. Alright, so highlights are going to go in this layer. I'm going to use my gradient tool. I want to add white to it. Not fully. It's on reverse, that's why it did that. Maybe a little more diagonal. It's too much. Trying to get it just right. Actually, what we'll do is we'll create a new layer. This way, I could blend it into the layer below it. Change the opacity as well. See if we can make it a little sharper. It's just not turning out the way I want it to be. Oh, that's why we're using the radial. There we go. In it a little. Let's go with luminosity, maybe? No, that doesn't change it. I think because it's pure white, it's not going to really change much. Light. And what we could do is just go in with the eraser tool and just erase some of it. Laying in bed, about to sleep. How are you? Have a good night, Tikaru. Appreciate the lurk. I'm doing okay. Doing okay. We're getting a big snowstorm the next 3 days, so my wife and I went out to buy some last-minute groceries that we needed. I don't like the snow like I used to when I was a kid. Because mainly I gotta shovel it. So... we found someone who we could pay to shovel the snow for us, because we have a large property here. This is not erasing. Why is it not erasing? I'm on the layer. Set to normal. Where did I... There were highlights, that's why. I'm in the wrong layer. There. Okay, now we're there. This needs to be 3. And then really big. You always want a big brush with a really low opacity so you can do some nice effects with it. That's how you use the erasing tool. See how subtle it is? It's almost like you're airbrushing. And you just basically paint it in there. Let's do it without a mask. The selection never snows there. I know. I don't know. Like, I would probably miss snow if it never snowed. When I was a kid, I loved it, but now I just hate it. We're on the corner of the block where we live, so we have all this property around the side of the house that we got to clean up too. Garages, cars that need to be cleaned. It's a mess. Come on, get in there. Not erasing exactly what I needed, so we're gonna up the opacity. Yeah, at this point with the highlights, you could just go in there and just start drawing with even the eraser. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Even use just the edge of the eraser. Get that little effect. A little too edgy. Make it smaller. I want to take out this curve here. There you go. All right. Don't be afraid to just get in there. I forgot they have opera on the Hitman Blood Money soundtrack. I'm a big opera fan. I'm not too crazy about what we're doing here. Just lower the opacity. And we just keep it at 1 layer with pin light. I think that's good. Always change your blending mode. Try different things out. 98's too much though. Let's bring it down to 72. Let's go lower. There we go. That's cool. All right, so it's not pure white. Actually, there. Throw in a little more white. Change the opacity to 3%. You could basically color with the tools, the airbrush tool, the painting tool. This is a no-no, never do this without tapping or selecting an area, but what the hell. There we go. Not too bad. There we go. Right there. It's time consuming to do highlights and shadows, but this is where you get really artistic in interpreting what the artist drew and seeing what your what the light source is, where it's coming from. I'm gonna make this part dark. Make this dark. Don't worry about his face. Darker. We're not going to completely change the color. It's going to be a darker version of his skin tone. Today's lesson is just a guide on how to approach highlights and shadows. Like I said, I probably won't finish this today. So what I'll end up doing is finishing it offline and then sharing it with everybody. Gotta make this darker. Yeah, add a little more magenta and yellow to it. Not too much. There we go. Let's try that. Not picking up the color. Oh, that's why, because this layer is differently colored. Okay, there we go. Oh man, that looks terrible. What do I do? That looked terrible, having everything connected like that, so... take a different approach. Run a new layer. Could also be that the black that we've added into here is too dark, so we may have to change that, but looked pretty disgusting before. This part's on the inner side of his arm, so let's color that dark. Now that's looking a lot better. This area. This part is on the outside of his arm, so that should be colored darker. Like I said, we're probably going to lighten this color slightly because it looks way too contrasting. See how we did the light here on his face? I want to do it more... not so contrasty. Just a little bit subtle. So let's bring down the opacity. Did we get it right? 72. Let's go with 78. There we go. Perfect. The way I like it. All right, give me a second here. I gotta get up from the computer for a second to look out the window. All right, we got this. Yeah, that looks a lot better than what I attempted to do before. His fingers, fingertips, his inside fingers are probably going to need shadowing, I would think. I think like this part of his hand might be set for some dark undertones. Like I said, shadows are pretty subjective, pretty objective, and they're not as easy. They're up to how you interpret them. You're supposed to follow your light sources. That's the main way to do it. See if we can do a gradient here. Darker on the fingertips. Maybe spread this out a little more. There we go. That's it. Okay, but I want to start it here. There you go. You don't get that hard blend line. Looking good, Thor. Looking good. This is on the inside of Thor, so we can probably give it the same treatment, same color. Hey, Bass, how's it going? Hooty hoo! Thank you, Bass. Appreciate it. So, just adding some highlights in here. Took me a while to get into the groove. We won't finish this today, obviously, but I will finish it offline and then show off the finished piece. I mean, at this point, all we really have to do is the highlighting. How does that look? Yeah, looks alright. I'll live with that. Yep, this is what we have so far. The background looks good. Kind of happy with the background, the way it turned out. We just got to add highlights everywhere now. Especially the slit. The slit is just one color. Silver chrome. Get the highlight for his face. Here. I'm gonna leave the hand for now and just kind of add this in. I'm gonna go light instead of dark here. Hold on. Let's color that in. Use opacity of 50 just to get in there. We move. I think we moved. Nope, we didn't. Looked like it. Like we did. Around here. One more light. Again, don't forget to erase. I mean, I like to erase, but there's some editors that don't want any erasing because it's easier to pick up. You have to go back and change it. It's easier to pick up the color and just change it. Me personally, I like to break the rules so that you get that feathered effect. And you could feather too when you select, so it doesn't have to be perfectly feathered. I just don't want there to be like a straight line going across. I'm gonna blend it a little more. There. Looks better. Agile lighting. And we're not going to get too far with the highlights, but you'll get the idea. This will be a little piece I'll work on when I'm just chilling with nothing to do. Which rarely happens these days, so hopefully I'll get this done. Off stream. Make that darker, that's the inside of his hand. A little up here as well, because it's facing towards us. Not bad. His knuckles are darker, although this looks kind of odd. Probably do more of the curve here. Do it as a gradient. No, not the whole thing, just that little swatch right there. No, what's going to have to happen? We're going to have to feather it. Feathering does just that. It feathers the edges of your selection. They move feathering now? On their modify, okay. Do 5, that's enough. And then you kind of get that blended effect when you fill it in. So it's not a hard edge. You're just feathering the edges. Okay, what other parts should be dark? Use the lasso tool for a second here. This should be dark. Lips should be darker, just to indicate that there's a bit of shadow on them. There we go. Looking good, Thor. Looking good. Folds his cape. Got some shadows there. There we are. Let's feather it first. Let's expand it by 10 and then feather it by 5. There we go. A nice little effect there. I should probably do hard-edged. Yeah. No feather. See what it would look like without a hard edge. I kind of like the hard edge better. Let's bring this down to here. Always curve your selection lines. It just looks more natural when you curve it. If it's a straight line, it's just gonna look bizarre. There we go. I like that. A little more shadow on that. All right, let's leave Thor for now. Let's work on the sled. This is where the light is coming from on the sled. It's coming from underneath towards where the characters are. We can leave this part white. And then here... This is like a weird zigzag. I don't know what we're going to do for shadow color, but... Gonna be some kind of gray, dark silver, because I don't want to make it chrome. This thing wouldn't be shining anyway if it was chrome. This is actually a gray. This is not... I don't think it's white. Oh, it is white. Okay, so then we have every right to go in there with gray. U15. Not enough. We can take a cue from Thor's helmet. The dark color here. Get up to 20. Make it 30. There we go. That looks nice. Do the same thing on this side. It's the underbelly of the sled. There's a lot I gotta clean up here, especially on the background. Well, we always save that to the end. Why didn't it? No. My history. Close path, okay. Close call there. Because I didn't select the path that decided to fill everything. Gradient. Start it over here, bring it to right about there. It's okay. Yeah, I want to do the sled part of it right here. So this is where the curve is, curvature. Yeah, it kind of flips up and back. Let's see if we could put a gradient there. There. Probably do the same for the other side. I want to make it a little bit longer. There we go. Since it's chrome, it's going to have a lot of phases to its shadowing and intricacies. There are certain things that need to be, over, what's the word? Detailed. And I think anything that's silver or chrome is going to be it. You're going to have various shades of highlights and shadows. So it is a metallic after all. Go. Too much. There we go. It's the right direction too. Probably add a little in here. Again, big brush, small number, 3% opacity. Just want to go in there and add a couple of highlights. This we're going to make it even darker color. Again, the light source is behind it, so we have the liberty to just keep adding layers to it of color. Oops. Yeah, how this is going to look. 60? Is that too much? And we'll do it as a gradient. That a bit much. Nah, looks okay. Use a selection tool, and we could go in here. We could do stuff like this. This part could be darker. in here as well on this side. Could be darker. I mean, highlights and shadows you get really creative with. That's how it turns out. Make that darker. Okay, here they kind of gave us a guideline of what should be colored what, so... Make this look nice. I don't remember this being in the Hitman Blood Money soundtrack. You go to a rodeo at some point? I don't remember. It's too much. We want the lighter gray, not the darker. It's like this one, I think. Black. Then we could go in and fill it in all with on a hard edge brush. To clean this up. There we are. Fill that in. Let's go even darker here. This part here, he cross-hatched it. Well, he hatched it across, like, diagonally, so I don't think that's cross-hatching, actually. Did some line work to kind of indicate this is where it gets darker, I think. Now we go to darker gray. Wow, an hour just flew by. What the heck? Already 54 minutes in. I wasn't kidding when I said highlighting when you're coloring just takes so much work. That color. It's dark gray here. Maybe even make it a little bit darker. I cut this out like that. It'll look a little more natural. Almost looks like the thing has a face on it. My microphone picking up background noise. Seeing it. Yeah, it is. Hope it's not that bad on the mic. It really is picking it up. It's like not even in this apartment. Oh well. Something like that. Yeah, now it's really looking like a face. This is the nose. This is one of his eyes. Right here is people. He's got like a monocle on. All right. One last thing I'll show. We'll do sheet thing here. We'll add some highlights. I have to go complain about whoever's causing that noise. Ruckus in the background. Let's do almost closer to yellow-orange for her. Save this path for a second in case I gotta adjust it. And for sheet thing, what we'll do is we'll take out probably like 20% of the magenta. There you go. That's horrible. Sometimes you get it right on the first try, sometimes you don't. Let's go 30. That's better. See what it looks like. Yeah, that's better. Okay. This part right here, I've kind of messed up. I want to take it out. I have a Blue Yeti microphone. They're pretty good for the most part, but they're super sensitive. They pick up everything. And they're doing that right now, and I can't have that. So there we go. A little bit of a better highlight. And then for the dark, we would do along here. Just add black. This is the inside part of her arm, near her armpit, so darken that up. Continue the highlight as well. You don't have to follow the inker's lines completely. You could just make your own direction with it. There we go. Something like that for her highlight. Let's do her face. So wait, this is the highlight, this is the darkness. Let's do highlights on her face. Her brow, which is basically a unibrow made out of brick. That's going to be completely darker. And the bottom part of her jaw should be dark as well. Okay, we save that. Leave our nose alone for now, and we will do a highlight along the edge of her head here. This is closer to the light source, so you want to put it there. I gotta get more practice in with shadows and highlights. It's been so long. The light source on here is kind of screwy too, so. This is this giant blast, but theoretically all the characters should be washed out. You don't want to do that, because that's not going to sell you a comic book. There you go. That's continuing of her highlights. Change the color channel. Selected the black only. Our nose, which isn't even a traditional nose at this point. I'm not on the right channel? No, I'm not. That's why. There we go. He's blocky, so if you go with straight lines here, it won't be too bad on the shadows. Probably run this down further. I want to leave the upper lip orange so it has some contrast to it. There we go. Gives her some definition. Now her face is kind of popping a little more. Her arm is popping. Doing dark on the inside parts of the arm. Part that's closer to the body, away from the background. Alter her hand a little bit. There. This should probably go on the inside and not be colored this way, because it's too close to the highlight then. That. There you go. Keep it separate. These fingers should definitely be highlighted. I didn't realize how bad I did with the beams on the backside. They're going to need to be completely fixed up, but that's an easy fix I'll do offline. Like over here, you can see they're not following the lines correctly. Like the intention was there. I didn't zoom in close enough to finish it up. So like this one. I want to bring it here to Sue's head. Fix it up now. What's the easiest way we're going to fix this? Because the background... That's the highlight. Okay, so we could still just color it yellow. The highlight will just go over. It was a hack repair job. My colors, but what the heck? You know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to clone it. Oh, we're not even on the highlight later. Hold on. That's why. Hey, Bass, you forgot that Miss Sting enjoyed a McRib before the scene and dripped some of that sauce on the white part of her uniform. Yeah, we should do that. We could actually highlight... I'm gonna put a highlight around her collar, too, to give her the shadow of her head. Wonder what type of detergent they use. There was a famous episode of The Jetsons where George Jetson gets like a superhero suit, brings it to the dry cleaner, and they switch it up on him. And then the next time, like, he has it, his maid, like, washes it in, like, a washing machine, and it rips up the entire suit. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but... Alright, let's put a palette around here. I'm just trying to fix up what I effed up. It's weird because... I guess it's only because it's going in one direction. Now we could just rubber stamp it onto a new layer. Example, current layer aligned. Well, unstable molecule outfits that they were. You gotta dry clean that shit. Always, otherwise they're gonna get eaten. Current layer and below. That's what I wanted. There we are. Now it's coloring it, right? We're just copying what's adjacent to it. Beautiful. Fix that up. I'll fix more of that offline. Starting to come together. Starting to come together. I'm going to go in here. Put a highlight in. Though it should probably be darker. I'm just picking random spots on this now to just add highlights and shadows. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just trying to show as much as I can before we end the stream in like 2 minutes. See what darker would look like. On the wrong layer. pick a layer and use it. There we go. I think it needs to be darker. I mean, the thing isn't finished by far, neither Restore. Still gotta lay down highlights there. Especially on Thor's boots. I'm just picking interesting spots so I can kind of show off how to do this. There we go. I keep hearing conflicting reports. First, we were supposed to get 3 inches of snow here in the Northeast. Then we were supposed to get 10 inches. Now I have somebody emailing me, or texting me rather, telling me that's 17 to 20 inches. So they really don't know what's going to happen with the storm. It's a nor'easter coming in. I went to do some shopping today, as I said earlier, just to get some groceries done. Shopping done, because we're going to, who knows, at least for 3 days it's going to be snowing here, so who knows when we'll be able to make it to the store. That's good. This should probably be darkened down here. That's alright, you didn't want to go anywhere anyways. You're right, I don't. Alright, the Rosebud sled's coming together a little. It's coming along. It just takes a very long time with highlights. Let's look at the original colors. I got the highlights on this part. I got it on this part. Did I color this wrong? I don't think I did. The highlights should be on the outside. This is all shadow in here. This should probably be part of the highlights, I'll admit that, but there's a certain area and then it stops. And the top part of her hand should be highlighted as well, I would think. Oh, we could do that with a gradient. I don't want to keep looking at the recolored version of the cover, only because I think it's going to influence me to go one way or the other. Whereas the original one, it leaves it open for interpretation. Gotta make this my own. That's what I'm saying. Alright, let's do this with a gradient. Nope. A little bit stronger over here. There we go. That looks good. And on this side, it's going to have more light to it, so... There we are. Good. Not perfect by any means, but I'm happy with it. You know, you also got to be happy with your final product when you're coloring too. You can't... You know, in real life, if you're working for an artist and you're coloring his stuff, I mean, he's going to have his opinions. You're the colorist, it's open to your interpretation, obviously, but there we go. Get out right there. It's bizarre. My phone just went off, but the problem is, I didn't even know I had my phone on me. I see. But I had it inside charging. See, I don't agree that all this should be highlighted at all. Nor should it all be shadows. So let's go with the shadows around here. Kind of dip it in here. They have it as all highlights, and I don't think that's right. See what this will look like darker. It is a gradient, and then I guess this part should have a little light to it. Let's grab the dark. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Branch it out a little here. Still needs to be a gradient, because I already went with a gradient. There we are. Almost. Yeah. If anybody has a problem with it, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, just totally let me know. I'm not really happy with that, truthfully. What I want to do, I want to just follow this right here. Rather than just make it a curved blowout. I think this is going to look better. Oh, it does look better already than what I had before, I think. I noticed another thing too. You forgot to mark the long scratch on the front that happened when Rosebud 2 got keyed by an angry shopper when Mr. Fantastic parked in the handicapped spot of a local Trader Joe's. Yes. Yes, I gotta put in some dents in here. There's no way this thing made it through space and time without any dents in it. That's something I'll eventually add. Ah! Remember to select your selection. Why is it not stuck? It was on the wrong button. There we are. That looks decent. Yeah, where did it get keyed? I think it got keyed right here. Give it a nice scar. The line art beer guides. That's your dent. A little scar across its face. Reed Richards can be so inconsiderate when he's in a hurry. Oh, indeed. It's a bit of a head case when it comes to stuff like that. Alright, well, we didn't get to do too many highlights. Sheathing looks okay. We finished up Thor a little. Did some more work on Rosebud. An hour goes by so fast. It's ridiculous. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue working on this offline. And then I'll show it to everybody next stream, but this is going to be our last digital coloring stream this week. I'll do more Photoshop streams in the future. I'm not sure what the subject will be. If you guys want me to do more digital coloring, I'll gladly do that. Also thinking maybe we could do a photo retouching, editing kind of class, whatever interests everybody. I'm willing and able to listen to everybody and their advice and ideas and, you know, pitch them to me. Not an expert at everything with Photoshop, but if you want to learn it, I'll teach it. The way we'll go. There's a lot left to be done here. I might even end up changing like the sled a little around. But it looks good. Looks good. I wish I had more time to do highlights. I don't want to spend the whole 3 hours doing highlights. 3.5 hours, actually. Gotta fix up that background, too. It's annoying me. Certain areas, it's like, what? What was I thinking? Like, definitely here, I would probably extend it to there. We fixed this part. This needs to be cleaned up. I don't think it needs to show up here. Let's clean that up now, actually. It's breaking through the line. It just looks odd. And I want to go with how the artist intended it to be. Hey, Skotsky, how's it going? I'm going to continue lurking since I have no idea what's going on. Looking good, though. Thank you. We're digitally coloring comics. Been a series of 5 videos I did. We're finishing this up now, and we're going to start playing Groove. I automatically fired him as a client. I had somebody do that to me. You should check out the new comic I just sent off to be graded. You sent the new comic off to be graded, Skotsky? I don't have any graded comics. I stopped collecting around 2006, I think it was. I get a paperback every now and then of like a collection of books, but... Alright, there we go. Rosebud 2. Sheathing's starting to look good. I'm going to keep working on it, like I said, and some point in the next couple of weeks I'll have it. Look up Wolverine number 8, Clayton Crane Black-like variant. Oh, from okay, not the original volume 1 from Wolverine. Wolverine volume 3, right? Is that it? Let me look it up. Crane Blacklight variant. Oh, wow. Look at this. Going for 170 on eBay. Black Flag Comics? This isn't... Is this it? It's a homage. What does that mean? It's a copy of the cover? This is the actual comic. I don't know what that was. It's pretty hot. I can't imagine what it looks like under a blacklight. That's very cool. Yeah, well, the half the reason they have to make it colorful is so that when you put the blacklight on it, it's your typical blacklight poster colors, but it looks great. That is awesome. Yeah, I like it. The chrome. It's gonna look great in the blacklight too. Nice. $220. That's what they're selling it here. With that cover. Not graded. So once you get it graded, it's gonna actually go up in volume and in price. An homage to the classic Hulk 340 cover. Oh, okay, that's right. Hulk 340. Was that the one where they first introduced? No, that's not the one where they first introduced them. That's this one. Yeah, okay. Because I know his first comic was first comic book appearance was in a Hulk comic for Wolverine. Rated is like 700. Nice. I have to go through my comic collection and see how much some of those are worth. I go back to like the 70s with some of my stuff, so I got a lot of variant covers and Hulk 188 one. Yeah, that's correct. That was before he was even an X-Men and they even knew what mutants were. So very cool. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna change over now. We're gonna play some video games. Let's put on the Grim Fandango music.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
That's what we want. Yeah.
This sentence is
Ah, the commercial for Grammarly. Screw Grammarly. Actually, I'm gonna play this. This is an alternate soundtrack. More mellow.